And we are live, or almost live, kind of live.
Yes, so thank you guys for joining us tonight. This is the first night that we've made the appropriate time for release, and
Yep.
that's because it's ahead of time.
Yes, it's actually Monday night for us. I'm working our local fair this week, so I'm gone on Tuesday. But after this is pretty much it for busy Tuesdays for me. So I should
Okay.
be back on schedule pretty good after this. Um,
So we're gonna try and stay in chat. We're gonna post this video. You guys are watching it tomorrow. One of us are in the chat right now.
yeah.
So thank you for
So
joining us.
ask questions. Don't be scared. We're here. We'll chat. We'll communicate as much as we can.
Yeah,
Thank you for watching.
like I say, I think going forward, I think we're gonna get back to a bit more of a set schedule.
Definitely.
So we'll let you guys know on Monday what our release schedule is for that week.
Yeah.
And kind of go from there because we really do enjoy communicating with the fans. Like it's fun, you and I talking, absolutely, but when people are joining in and they
That's
have
way
their own
better.
opinion, yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
And I want to get people's opinions on this one because tonight is the night we finished Andor.
We did.
So, spoiler alert: we didn't watch 4 episodes this evening. After last week's episode, we decided to watch 2 more episodes of it.
Yes, we did. Forgot we did that. Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was a chore. It was almost as if you enjoyed.
Yeah, tonight was a good night.
Well, so you enjoyed that, and then tonight was the last two, and you enjoyed that as well, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So would you say you enjoyed Andor as a series?
Yes, but there's some stipulations on that. I still stand strong that it is not the best Star Wars show yet.
Okay.
Um, and I still think it's, like I said last week, it's one of those shows that's a great add-on, but it definitely would have been my last pick out of every show we've gotten so far. So, by saying that, I mean on the drawing board at Disney, when they go, we have Boba Fett, we have Kenobi, we have Ahsoka, we have Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire. We have all these shows. We have all these shows we could make. Say, like, a Cal Kestis show, or a Mace Windu show, or a Qui-Gon show, what a Count Dooku show, Tales of the Empire, or Tales of the Jedi, we kind of got. You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's all these other characters, whatever. Andor is by far below the list. It shouldn't even be on the list for
Doesn't
me
register, right?
because he's not a character that anybody cares about. And this show did a very good job at making you care about Andor. And it was a good show. It was decent. It was pretty good. There was great parts. There was some boring parts. I do care about Andor more now, but I don't feel like
I love
in
this.
the end, like or in the beginning, I should have cared about Andor at all. He's a side character in a decent movie that Star Wars made about a prequel to the saga.
Okay.
Like he's not even a relevant character. Like he's just some dude that doesn't really mean anything to the galaxy. So to put all this money and all this time and all this effort into an Andor show is why I've been so frustrated about this show. When
Okay, that's fair.
everything, every piece of resource from the time, the money, everything I just said, if you took that out of Andor and put it into the Kenobi show would have been a hell of a lot better. The Boba show would have been a hell of a lot better.
Now,
I think Andor and all the time and money spent was a waste because we could have got better stuff.
is it? Are you saying that, like in theory, if Andor wasn't made, the budget for it would have gone into the other Star Wars stuff, or because it's not like
In a real world, no, but that's what I think should have happened. Like, I think, does that make sense?
so. Okay, if Andor wasn't around, more budget and time could have been allocated to these other shows, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Like, Kenobi should have been the best show ever.
yeah, but it
Like,
was it was terrible.
I agree. But it should have been the best show ever.
Yeah,
Right? Like, we had Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen come back for the ultimate reunion in a show about a time that everybody's been asking for forever. Like,
there was so much more potential with it. We could have
there
done so many
was.
flashbacks. The story itself could have been better.
And I feel like Andor is just that show that, like, oh, we're out of stuff. We're out. Pick a character, let's make a story on it. That's how I felt
So
about Andor
is
before the
that
show.
maybe what holds part of your enjoyment of it back? That
Yeah,
like you
definitely.
like.
I resent it a little bit.
I was gonna say this, that
Yeah,
like to you it takes away from it, right?
yeah,
To me, I think that's what I enjoy about it so much, and I have pushed about it being so good is that like it took someone that I wasn't as interested in and really made me invested in their world, and their world was a microcosm of what was going on in this galaxy, this revolution, this rebellion. Um, and so like that final episode, like you watch that speech on Rick's Road by Marva, the way it fires everyone up. Bosco beats a couple people down with Marva, like
with the brick.
yeah, like literally and like
Yeah.
it. I could see why a kid on a farm on Tatooine would join a rebellion and fly a spacecraft against a unstoppable like death machine
Yeah.
for like the good of the galaxy. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of adds a layer of like,
Perspective.
yeah, a hundred
Sure.
percent. Like,
And
why
I
do these
agree
people
with
do
that.
this?
I do. And I think the show did a really good job in a lot of aspects, like especially showing perspective. And that's been something you've been preaching since I first met you was one thing I'll never forget that you've said because you've said it so many times. It's not a bad thing, but Andor, once someone gets shot, they're dead. That's it. They don't come back. They're dead. That character's done.
Yeah,
And
there's no
this show
fanfare.
did
There's
a
just
fantastic job with that. I will totally agree with you on that. That statement was true through and through, and I loved it. It added a great level of perspective.
dude. Characters on the raid, the Aldani raid that we got to know, like members of the team, like just died just instantly.
But again, I'm not watching Star Wars for some average dude. Like that's not my Star Wars. My Star Wars is omnipotent Jedi going up against omnipotent Sith battling it at like the acolyte, dude. That one episode where they all fought, and it was like half of the episode was a fight. Like that was what I needed in Star Wars.
So
The
you are more
choreo,
of a prequel Star Wars, we'll say. Like
100%.
that's it's the Jedi versus Sith. Because to me, Star Wars is more of the original series, like the Rebels versus the Empire.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
Sith and the Jedi are in themselves backstory. Obi-Wan was a Jedi. Darth Vader.
Yeah,
Is it even mentioned? Is Sith mentioned in the first movie? I've had the discussion. I don't know if it is.
I don't know either. I doubt it because a lot of things weren't like the
Yeah,
story wasn't fully developed when the first movie was made, right? It
yeah,
was like
that's true. Yeah,
this was it,
yeah.
like episode
Things
four,
we didn't know that Leia was going to be his sister.
and
So
Vader was the dad. Like none of that was
100%, right?
there.
So to me, Star Wars isn't. Star Wars is more of like this unstoppable force, this overwhelming adversary, this like ruthless villain, and like the fight against them. And to me, Andor was the perfect show of making the Empire seem competent and scary. The way they
Definitely,
took over stuff, the
definitely.
way that last scene where the stormtroopers were killing people in the courtyard, like they weren't missing shots.
And so I think you're definitely right, and I think that's more that OG trilogy era is like the like everything's grungy, and you're trying to fight this war that you're not going to win.
Yeah,
And I think it's the same in the prequels. It's just different because the good guys are the side of the war that's going to win. And even though Palpatine is like behind the shadows and like
yeah.
pulling the strings, it's not the CIS that are like the unstoppable force. It's the clones and the Jedi and like you know what I mean. Like the CIS are they're the junkers, the cannon fodder, the like they take out
Some of those
lives.
become rebels. Like some of those become,
Yeah, yeah, I guess they do.
you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
but you know what I mean though. Like I think the roles are just reversed, and like yeah, you're definitely more into the rebels and Empire, where I'm definitely more into like the Jedi and
Okay, all
the
right.
and the
So
clones
more
and
that
the
mysticism. So I think it was Timothy Zahn's original Thrawn stuff talked about the Clone Wars. This is just kind of going off topic here. And I think kind of the original story, and we've heard some speculation. You and I have had some great theories, but one that we really kind of floats out there that like the clones were not supposed to be the clones that we know. Like originally, like the intent was not that the clone was one soldier that was cloned several million times and fought against droids. It was taken more that like people were being cloned and like there
mhm,
was a war going across the galaxy and it was something more sinister and like the clones were the bad guys and the Jedi were fighting against the clones and that sounds more along the lines of like the rebel like and
mhm.
Empire sort of battle. You know what I mean? Yeah, the
Well, the
prequels now
clones
is like
are the stormtroopers, just in a different time frame,
yes, like
right? Like,
in the original, like they were just some. It was a different thing altogether. It was like the
yeah,
galaxy was fighting against these cloned individuals and these people cloning people. I think Palpatine had a clone.
yeah, he
Luke had a
did.
clone.
Luke had a clone.
Yeah,
Palpatine has many clones stashed throughout the galaxy, I
yeah.
think, in the legends.
So that was kind of neat. But I don't know. So to me, I'm not taking away from the prequels. So I'm getting off topic here. But to me, this was like the underdog. This was the like the oppression. When he gets sentenced to prison for a non-crime because they need to fill these prisons, these work camps, and then when he gets there, it's like, okay, just do your job, keep your head down, and you'll go home. And then it's like, oh, you're not even going home. We're just gonna
Yeah,
kill you all. And then even when they get off, you hear like those aliens. They're like, we hate the Empire, like in their language, like they've destroyed this planet. They've destroyed these like the Empire just comes and destroys, and just this is like the perfect like.
yeah, and it was good. Like, it was good. It's just, I think it's not the right time. Like if everything else was great, I doubt I would have so much resentment towards this show. You know what? Like, does that make sense too?
If
Like,
everything else
in shows, like, because I
okay, so
feel like
you almost
I'm
hate
friggin' waiting for this good Star Wars show, and I don't want
we
it to
just
be.
finished it,
I don't want it to be Andor because it's someone I don't give a.
but it
I
was
don't
good.
care. I don't care. Like, it was so. I don't care. Like, it was good. It was a good show. But to me, it's like it's not what I'm looking for. It's never gonna hit the mark. It's never gonna be that show I need it
That's the
to
thing that
be.
that Star Wars is for variety fans. Like for me, I could sit and watch Rogue One next week. If you were like, hey, let's do a Rogue One rewatch, I'd be like, hell yeah, hundred
Well, I think
percent.
we should because I think I'd understand it different now. But oh man, it's never gonna hit that mark for me because it's not anybody I care about. Like, and I don't know, maybe I'm that guy that just really likes fan service. But like I was okay. Let's go back to the Acolyte because everyone freaking hates the Acolyte. That episode where Chimere came out and murdered all the Jedi, and we got a wicked cool fight, and Yord and Jecki died, and Soul got his butt whooped, and like, dude, it was
See,
perfection. It was everything we needed. It was the best saber combat we've gotten since the prequels, by far,
I
hands
guess in
down.
in that instance, like, okay, action wise, combat wise, 100%.
And how cool was Chimere?
Listen, amazing. But to me, Yord and Jackie are nothing characters.
Andor's
To
a
me,
nothing character.
but to me, man, there's side characters in Andor that I remember more of than Jackie and Yord.
That's crazy.
Because like, what was they didn't get any character arc, any growth, any like they had nothing. We see Yord and he's like this pomp, like it's
And
like
that's what I think we talked a little bit during the show. I think those shows were too rushed. 8 episodes isn't enough. This was what, 12?
yes, right.
That's the right amount. 12 to 20, I think. Like,
And these were longer episodes, were they not? These were
yeah, like, and think how much better of a show we could have got if we could dive into characters more and like get that more dialogue and stuff, but like with characters that are cool. Like Andor's like, and I'm not. Everyone loves Han Solo. I'm. I don't think he's that great. Like he's cool. He's that cool guy, but like every movie has a Han Solo.
see
Every
to me
movie,
like
like
Andor. I actually put the new game, the Star Wars
Outlaws.
Outlaws. Is that not what that
Andor
that
is.
was? That whole thing, like it's a guy who's doing a mission, which find his sister, and something happens, and then it's a series of like ever changing quests, and it to me felt like a wild RPG. Like I was playing like a cyberpunk style like Star Wars, or that I was watching.
Yeah,
Like his evolving story, the arcs that he goes through.
and
Like there is a lot of growth to that.
like I said before in previous episodes, I don't think that this show is like I don't hate it because people love it, and that's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not mad. I'm not as mad about it because there is a massive fan base for this show. So I'm like, cool, that's dope. Those people got what they needed. Where's my fix? I'm a Star Wars fan too.
Well, but
You know, just because I don't love this style of content doesn't mean that I don't need my fix. Like,
but
where's
your
my?
fix Ahsoka?
No, Acolyte was better than Ahsoka.
But I mean, but you know what I mean? Like this stuff in the content they're making. I don't mean that in a bad way. Like the Ahsoka was a fan service series.
Yeah, but it's again like where was the writer? Like the writer for this? Where's that in Ahsoka? Like,
because
Why is Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau absolutely crushing Mandalorian season 1 and 2, and then just dumping dog water on everything else? Like, it's like they put no care into like the story or like the characters in those shows. Like, visually appealing, all of those shows are awesome. All of them. Kenobi included. All of them are visually awesome.
yeah,
Saber battles are cool. The ships are cool. The ship battles are cool. The sets are cool. The costumes, the aliens, whatever. It's all cool. The stories kind of suck though. And like, we need good stories. Star Wars is good story. It's such a good story that every little character has their own story.
isn't that Andor?
That's Andor.
So that this is a good story. Like, man,
Yeah.
I
And
cared
that
about Cyril. I cared about Deirdre. Deidre?
okay, so let me
Deidre.
pitch this. Do you want a show on Cyril?
No, but I want to see a continuation of what happens to him in the story. He's not
Okay,
but
exactly.
he's not the focus.
So Rogue One 2 then.
What do you mean?
I don't, or Rogue One prequel. I don't want a show on Andor, just like you don't want a show on
Listen,
Cyril.
I agree with you. When this show came out, everything you said was true. Like I was the least interested in this.
Yeah,
Like it was not like on my radar. Kenobi was.
yeah,
Super excited for that. This maybe I had the lowest expectations on. This to me as a TV show, every week when it came out, I was so pumped to watch it week to week.
yeah. And that's what you want.
Acolyte was fun. We both enjoyed that week to week. But Andor to me, man, I was on the rewatch. Oh man, I was so excited. I was disappointed when we had to stop when you went away for work because I was like, this is
Yeah,
I was getting into this again. I was
yeah.
pumped to finish it again. I was like, man, I really enjoyed that story. And that's like I don't know if I'd go back and do Mandalorian season 3 in this instance. Like sit and watch it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. So okay, let's do this. You guys have probably heard us rant for a while. Let's hear your thoughts on Andor. Like, are you in agreement with Colin that it wasn't as maybe mystical and fantastical as like the Acolyte was in the story, the combat. Like, you did get if people went back and watched other videos, you said there was like no space combat, and I was like trying to like you
Yeah.
got a pretty cool space.
Okay, but again, like,
It's pretty cool.
why wasn't it better?
It was great.
It was freaking awesome. And then it
What's
ended
better?
like that.
Because maybe a thing is good because it is. It's just like the ship gets caught in the tractor beam. We see the defenses.
And I'm
We
not
see
saying
the
like
countermeasures.
that encounter should have lasted longer. But this is Star Wars, and there should have been more space stuff. Like, show me more fights. Show me more space battles. We got a couple on the ground battle. Like,
They got the leaving Aldani, like flying away from the TIE fighters. They had TIE fighters chasing them on Aldani, so there was kind of that perspective. Even that episode where they broke out of the prison, like they had those TIE strikers, I think, like searching for them. So you kind of feel the threat of like one or two of these ships. And all of a sudden, like this is one guy in a hull craft stopped by not even a Star Destroyer. Just this like small, I forget what the class was called, you know what I mean? Like in a tractor beam, like what would you do as a scoundrel? You know what I mean? Like that the last thing you would ever want to do is be caught in something like that and like this is how he gets out. These are
yeah.
his countermeasures. Um there's this Star Wars games around here somewhere, Outer Rim. Um it's a fun one where you travel the galaxy as a bounty hunter doing stuff. And like
Hmm.
obviously Luthen isn't a bounty hunter, but you feel that like I have to avoid patrols and if I get into one, like
I'm screwed.
I'm gonna escalate it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so I don't know. So I don't know what everyone thinks on this. Do you have Colin's view that it maybe doesn't have as much as the action or the focus that maybe the prequels does? Or are you maybe more in agreement with me that it's more of like an original, like the original trilogy story, focus more on storytellers and small characters versus bigger events and that sort of thing?
I do want to know what you guys think.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know what you think of my opinion too. Like, 'cause everybody I feel shares your opinion. Like, it's an amazing show, right? Like, everybody across the board is like, it's a fantastic show. And even I agree. It was a good show.
So okay, so Scott, would you tell Scott has Scott seen Andor?
I do believe so, and I think he liked it.
Okay, okay. If someone was on the fence with Andor, would you tell them to watch it?
That's so hard, dude.
So if someone was a
So,
Star Wars
this is
fan,
the question I would ask. Have you seen Star Wars?
yes,
Then go watch Andor.
I
Have you
didn't
not
like
seen
blank.
have you not seen the first 6 movies? No? Then don't watch Andor. Go watch the first 6 movies. Any one of them. You can't start with Andor. and I'm doubling down on that. I've been saying that since our first watch. I've been saying
Okay, so maybe my thing is like maybe it's not the very first thing I would introduce people, and I've said that, but it would be one of the first things. Like I might introduce them to like go watch A New Hope, Rogue One, and Andor before I go tell them go watch Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Mandalorian
oh my god,
seasons one
that's
and two.
insane. That's insane. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I don't know. It's but even like the Mandalorian season one and two, then you have to watch the third one. The third one starts to bring in all this like fan service and get a little silly and like
Yeah.
Andor. Okay, so
The third one sucked so much. Like, and that's upsetting. Because the first two were so freaking good.
you know, I think is good. I okay. Let's talk about this. What are your speculations for season two? I know that there's some time jumps. I
It's
think
gonna
K2SO.
be him and Lutheran on missions, I'm guessing.
What's going to happen to Lutheran? We don't see Lutheran in Rogue One. We don't know what happens to him. Do you think he's going to get caught? Do you think he's going to be killed, sacrificed, something along those lines? There's still quite a bit of time between this and Rogue One. You know, there's no more question of Cassian's loyalty or anything. So yeah, they're doing missions. Are we going to see more of Val?
Oh yeah.
Is there going to be more of Deirdre? Like, is she still going to be hunting for Cassian? Because
What was her
he's
end?
Cyril saves her,
Yeah.
so she's about to be kind of beaten down by the mob. It's
Yeah.
very scary, and he pulls her to safety. Well, he kind of takes her in the gun, and she thinks she's being marched away, and he saves
Yeah.
her. Um, and she was flustered, man. Like
Yeah.
she said thank you, and you've never heard her say that.
Yeah.
So now she has a right hand.
My respect got lost for her a little bit in that end scene of her. With her being so flustered. Because she was so on the ball.
So doesn't that go to show?
All
So
show.
doesn't that go to show you the depth of her character
And
and
then
like
it's
the
like,
she's human. She has this when she's
yeah,
with
but
the
it
other
came down to it and she wasn't that big and ballsy anymore, like
because the Empire around each other are like that. Like they're all this big tough and
until they're
show.
alone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like when they're amongst each other,
Fair. That's a good point, actually.
and
Yeah,
then
because that's not the first time we've seen something like that.
or even when the guy starts firing, it's like the one soldier gets hit by a rock or something. The one officer gets beaten up, stands into the doorway and tells to open fire.
Yeah,
Not because like they hit me, like
yeah,
just open fire, kill them all.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I like seeing like here's the rough, tough Empire. When it comes, push comes to shove, like they're nothing. You know. So she is with Cyril. So do you want to see her and Cyril in Andor season two?
I think you like Cyril a lot more than me. I think he's just kind of a plague to the show. All his scenes were so boring.
Okay.
Like his mom sucked, but I'm like, don't care. Like I think they should have just kind of canned him after. Like he didn't really do anything all season other than save that girl at the end. Like he started the drama.
Yeah,
I think he should have got fired. We should have seen him go home all depressed. Done.
but his kind of investigation kind of leads Deidre to keep looking for Cassian Andor. When he's at the when he's working for his uncle.
But they could have bridged it a little bit. Like
I see. I Here's the difference. I like that character in the show because it really showed you the juxtaposition. Like he lived the most boring, mundane life, where Andor was like the scoundrel, like living this wild life, stealing ships and going off planets and doing bets with people,
so it's the scale.
you know what I mean. So you see like the action is more exciting. The the Daughters of Fenris, the community coming together and fighting was more believable because it felt like a real community. And then you get to see Coruscant where like they're living in like those concrete towers and it's very sterile and depressing. So like you get this wild juxtaposition between the two characters, which I really enjoy.
Yeah.
This boring who's so focused on stuff and Andor who's finding his passion, which is like
Being a scoundrel.
but like for the rebels, for like the
Yeah.
right cause.
What I want to know what you guys think. Like, what were the strong points of the show and what were the weak points of the show? Like, in my opinion, like Cyril was definitely a drag in the show. I think the show would have been a faster pace, more enjoyable show without his character in those later episodes or those middle episodes. Um, I think not enough action, not enough space battles, because clearly they can do a cool space battle. To give us a quarter of one is kind of disappointing. Um, what else didn't I like? Oh, you know what I really didn't like? You know what really took me out of the show? Is when Buddy headbutts a stormtrooper and knocks him out. That was the craziest thing I think we've ever seen in Star Wars, ever. That's worse than someone getting stabbed in the stomach and coming back to life the next day.
I don't
That
think
was insane.
I don't think that's fair.
Really? Dude,
The guy was
go
rude.
go headbutt a metal or a piece of armor and tell me that it's not
It
gonna.
was like headbutting a motorcycle helmet or something.
Yeah,
And I get that, but like I think the point was supposed to be that, like, this guy was a brute. Like he was so tall and towering
that took
and
me
just
right
like
out of it. That was the worst decision that this show's made. That was horrible. That was like, what scene is it? It's either Ahsoka or Mandalorian season 3, but somebody like grabs one of the stormtroopers and like pulls them and like pulls them by their arm and they like fall over all dramatically. That was worse. That was horrible.
no
That was
way.
horrible. I
No,
never want to see that
man.
again. You know what else I hate? When the clones are punching droids in the Clone Wars. I think that's the same thing. Like that's like on the same level of stupidity as the clones going up and punching the droids in Clone Wars. Like what
He
the hell?
didn't he
That
didn't have a free hand. That was his only option.
you got a brick in one hand and a metal bar in the other, and you're like, let's headbutt the dude with armor and knock the guy out. Crazy. Crazy. Who is the choreographing guy on that? That was it. You can't. Nobody can. That was the worst call ever. That took me right out of that. And that was such a good scene. I was like, this is the climax of the show. This is the best episode. This is the best scene. And then I watched some dude headbutt a stormtrooper helmet,
I
and I
don't
was like, you've got to be freaking kidding me.
see if it's up here.
And I'm the guy
But
that, like, stuff doesn't take me out of the scene. I'm like, it's a show. I can get over it. That was crazy. That was absolutely insane. That was absolutely insane.
yeah, of course it's up here. Yeah,
Yeah.
here he is. He headbutts a. There's a whole episode. We could probably. I mean, like, yeah, the guy brings up motorcycle helmets and military helmets, and
Like there's this video. So I used to ride a motorcycle, so I get all these suggested in my feed. I don't know if you do. There's this video where this guy this dude tries to drive this biker off the road, and he gets out and he's in his face, and then his buddy walks up and headbutts the guy. Have you ever seen that?
yes.
Dude, knocked that dude down like
Okay.
that. No way in hell.
But him though, he
Let's see
just
this.
knocks him over. Watch, he like picks the guy up and he like shakes him. It looks like he headbutts him.
Bear
Sorry,
with us,
bear
guy.
with
Bear
us.
with us.
So he's swinging away. He clubs that dude.
Beautiful.
Okay. He doesn't.
Oh, he headbutts.
No, he goes like this. He goes
No.
like, and he like shakes him off. Look,
Definitely
look.
not. Go back.
Watch. He's gonna replay it. He like grabs him by both sides, and he like. It's not like his head doesn't go forward.
It's because it's choreographed.
I think it's the way his head sells it. I think he grabs the stormtrooper by the chest and just like throws him and like kind of has this like motion and like he's like snaps forward as he throws him. That's what I think it is.
I don't think so. Fans, let's break this debate.
Did
either go
Brasso headbutt the stormtrooper?
Go watch it or watch it on YouTube. We need to know. I want to know your thoughts. And then if he did headbutt, I need to know if you think it's as dumb as I do. That was crazy.
I can forgive all that. Forgive it all. It's all forgiven. It's forgiven. It's forgiven. It's a great show. It was so good. As a show, it's a good show. It's just like week to week, I was like, knew all the characters' names. I was invested in them. I was like, can't wait to see what happens. All these little mini story arcs. Like, I feel like I'm going places with Andor. I'm getting to know him. I actually feel like these characters are evolving. Like they're going through hardships.
I almost feel like it was Andor's show, but it also wasn't Andor's show.
Right?
Like,
So here you are hating it. It wasn't about Andor. It could have been called Star Wars Rebels, the prequel, but like not animated, and you would be like, "That's a pretty good show."
yeah,
Right?
maybe
Right?
if they had some lightsaber combat and
Like,
some
he's
star
straight-
battles.
Great character.
He's amazing. Yeah, I think he's the best character from the show.
Val,
You
Great
said
character.
Andy Serkis's character was your favorite.
He was good.
Why? Why is he your favorite over
I
Lutheran or Mon
no,
Mothma? Or
Lutheran was my favorite, and Andy Serkis was my other favorite.
okay,
I really just enjoyed the way he was so hard nosed and had taken Andor at this lowest moment and was like kind of showing him around and giving him faith, and how he was so like focused on like, no, my job is to get these guys working. My job is to like keep them alive, and like wouldn't help Andor. But then when he turns and it's like, we're not getting out of here, he's like, well, then we're fighting. Like
yeah.
I will yell the attack. I will do the inspirational speech to get these people out of here. Like I will do everything I can.
So you just like his art, really.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Lutheran, like,
Lutheran's great.
I would have rather to show on Lutheran than
Sorry,
Andor. I would have rather to show on Lutheran than
it
Andor.
is Lutheran show.
And I think it kind of is.
Right? So why? Okay, if it was just called Lutheran, would you be like, "This is the best Star Wars show ever"?
No,
Better than Andor?
probably. But it's hard. Maybe I would have had the same. I don't know. It's because it's hard to hypothetically say, because my
I get
my feelings for Andor come from like when did Andor come out?
2022.
Like it was at a time where like Star Wars wasn't that great, like
Oh, I think
and so when they did us dirty by releasing an Andor show before anything anyone cared about, that's what really pissed me off.
it was the last one out of the docket though. I think Andor came after Kenobi.
I don't think so.
So let me find out right now.
I don't think so.
Okay, so live action series, right? Okay, you ready for this? So Mandalorian, it's 2019,
Yeah.
2020, 2023. Book of Boba Fett was 2021. Obi-Wan Kenobi was May 2022. Andor was September 2022. So Kenobi came out first.
I feel like Andor came out so long before Kenobi. Like I feel like it was Mando season 1 then Andor.
See,
Why am
that's
I so like why is
Kenobi
my
was such a
timeline
disappointment.
so messed up?
Isn't that crazy? So if you look at it this way, Andor was the last big thing because 2022 Mandalorian season 3 wasn't very good.
Well, I guess Ahsoka.
Ahsoka 2023 wasn't well received. Acolyte 2024 was not well received. You know what I mean? So now you're going on Skeleton Crew and Andor season 2.
That's I think another reason why I'm not overly excited with Skeleton Crew is because it makes me feel the way Andor makes me feel.
So who knows? Could be the best one though.
It could, but give the Star Wars fans what they want.
Which
Like
is Andor.
no,
They're giving us too much of what we want. That's why we have too many shows. Just make good content. Andor is good content, right? Like if we if the Ahsoka show could have been Andor good, right? The resources are out there. So just stop releasing so much stuff and just take your time. Release one TV show a year that's like Andor quality that is based on Ahsoka or
I
based
agree
on
with that. I totally agree with that.
just one. Like that 2020, like you literally had Kenobi and then a few months later, Andor. How was anyone supposed to get pumped for Andor when Kenobi was there? And then Kenobi flopped and it's like people still enjoyed Andor. That's
Hmm.
crazy.
I agree with that. I think less shows, more effort into the shows.
That's everything. Take a break from the games. People are getting frustrated. Like this one didn't
But
sell well.
see, the games are like it's a different company. Like
But
it's
it's a
it's
brand.
Disney, but it's like the people who are making the shows aren't exhausted because the games are being
No, no,
made.
no, and I get that. But I think the brand itself is like it needs a breather.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I'm a Star Wars fan saying that like breathe.
it's sad though, isn't it?
Yes and no, because we are getting like the quality of everything we're getting maybe isn't really up to snuff. So it's like, yeah, we're getting a lot of stuff, but not all of it is really good.
Yeah,
But I think if we had less, we would enjoy it more. Yeah, I think this whole thing that we know that they're making the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. there was some speculation that again the Ray movie is now canceled, or like you know what I mean, that they're not making it, or there's no script. It's like then don't just make something to make something.
Exactly.
Have a good script. Have a great idea in
Have a
place.
story you want to tell.
Do you know what? Off topic here. James Gunn doing the DC universe right now. He just released word today that they're doing a new movie in the DC universe called Dynamic Duo, and it's based on the two Robins. So it's Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. So in the comic books, they never really crossed over as Robins. Dick had retired and Jason took over. What a great, cool concept.
Yeah.
It's going to be a story about two Robins and like very different people and like their antics together. I was like, that's super cool.
Yeah.
And like how they work with that. I was like, that's a great like. The studio was pushing him to make a Batman movie because they want to tie it in with like everything else that's going on in the other Batman universe. He's like, no, this is my story. This is my vision. I'm going to see it through. I bet she's going to be good.
Yeah.
Probably good because like he has a script. He talked to someone. Like the vision is good. There's too many chefs in the kitchen in like
Yeah.
Disney right now. You
I
know, we
think
see it with Marvel.
yeah.
Marvel's stuff suffers.
But okay, so I'll compare. It's good you brought it up because I want to compare Marvel and Star Wars right now. Everybody seems to hate fan service in Star Wars, but all those same people seem to love it in Marvel. And why is that?
I think it's getting tired in Marvel. I think
Is it?
okay,
Because Deadpool just crushed the ratings, and that
but
movie is literally fan service. The entire movie, from start to finish, is
that
fan
movie
service.
crushed in box office, but not the ratings. It's the lowest rated of the three Deadpool, isn't it?
Really?
I think for sure. I think the top.
I think it's like 10 times better than every other Deadpool.
I still think the first one is the best one.
Yeah, like it's.
Let's find out here.
It depends on what you're going for. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
This one was a lot of fan service and it was done well, but it was kind of a tribute. But you can't have this one if you don't have the other ones. So
you definitely
Deadpool,
could have.
Deadpool 1 is an 85% with critics and 90% with fans. Deadpool 2 is 80. This one,
That one was weak.
84% and 86%.
That one was weak.
Okay. And let's find out here. It was still funny.
It was funny.
Deadpool and Wolverine is 79% with critics, but 94% with fans.
So it's
fans
kind of like.
so fans do love the fan service, but like it has to be good stuff. And like the fan service with Deadpool and Wolverine is unique in that Hugh Jackman has been Wolverine for like 15 years.
Yeah.
So you could do a lot of stuff with him.
Dude, since 99.
25 years. Wow. 25
Right?
years. Yeah. So the thing about it, you could do a lot of stuff with him that meant a lot and went very far.
Yeah.
Look at the Flash, where they tried to add like cameos of like, well, but like it wasn't warranted or earned.
Yeah.
It didn't get received well.
Yeah.
I think Marvel content right now, like a lot of people are fatigued.
But like some of the best Marvel content lately has been those fan service movies. Deadpool and Wolverine and Spider-Man No Way Home. I think those have got to be two of the best things that Marvel's put out recently. And
Was No Way Home really that good?
I as
How many times have you rewatched it? Honest question.
dude like 10.
Okay, that's fine.
I freaking love that movie. Like but I also think that that movie was like made for me. Like and not
the Sam Raimi.
yeah, it's like literally the movie I started watching was Sam Raimi Spider-Man, like the original.
Yeah.
Right? Then number 2 came out, and then number 3 came out. So that was my childhood. Then Andrew Garfield came out, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. We get more Spider-Man. Then Tom Holland came out, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. We get more Spider-Man. And now we get a movie with all three of them, the best bad guys, in an awesome culminating to all my favorite Spider-Man stories. Like, how can it not be?
Look at that. What you're saying is does Marvel in the Deadpool movie, Deadpool Wolverine movie, really goes to that 2000s X-Men Fox era, the same era of like the Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a thing where like we're enjoying those because they're reminding us of like different movies and different times. Like the Spider-Man movies back in the day
Yeah,
were like comic
definitely.
book, like they were like over the top, and like there were lines that like we still remember. I'm somewhat of a
Right?
scientist, myself.
Yeah.
The X-Men movie were like over the top, where like they would make fun of the outfits, and now
Yeah.
Wolverine's in the outfit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So is it something where we enjoy it because like it's come full circle?
But then why don't we enjoy it with Star Wars? Why does everyone hate it so much with Star
But
Wars?
what is come full circle with Star Wars?
Like
Everyone love. Wait, why you say that?
besides the Luke,
Okay, so I was gonna say Mandalorian season 2 finale is exactly that.
yeah. But then when it comes to
There is no hint to Luke in that
like
entire.
Plagueis, everyone was like fan service that sucked, and I'm like, okay, well that was ridiculous. And then come on, there was some in Ahsoka and Kenobi.
Well,
Like it was in every
did a
show a
lot of
little
people say
bit.
it sucks? Because I like, from what I understand, a lot of people thought it was really cool.
No, from what I heard, everyone hated the Plagueis thing, and that it was disrespectful for them to bring in that character as a cameo and not
Okay,
as
but
like
as a
a.
can, so people are upset that not that he's there, but as a cameo. So he might have been there as a teaser for season 2 to be the
And then
main
everyone
character,
was like, "Huh, screw the acolyte,"
right?
and
So
now we don't get that
the
story.
fans that went on such a tirade that the Acolyte season 2 got canceled, like, good for you. Like,
Yeah,
you ever hear that saying, like, cut off the nose to spite your face? Like, that's what you did. Like,
exactly. And I think that was something maybe we said, maybe we didn't say, but and I said that you can't hate the show until it's over, and the acolyte is not over,
okay, so
right?
Andor, do you feel like Andor was over? Because we got to go back to, like, we got to stay on that. This
Yeah,
is
I know.
Andor.
Yeah, we get so
So,
sidetracked so easy.
how do you, like, did this not end for you? Like, to me, when I finished watching this, I didn't know there's going to be an Andor season 2.
Yeah, no, this was a good ending, dude. This was a good show. I've been saying that this whole night. This was a good show.
Soundbite
This
right
was
here.
a good show. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. I had fun, but I still stand on all my opinions where this show will never be near my favorite show because it never should have been made and it never should have been made when it was made.
Okay,
Like,
and I can appreciate that, but we can agree on this. It's a good show, but it's not your show.
exactly. Well said.
There's a lot of content right now that they're trying to appeal to everyone, right? And it's not working for everyone. So maybe this is a crazy thing, not in a weird way. Maybe you're more of whatever the merit is, more of a Star Wars fan than I am. You know, however we judge that. If it's
Yeah.
like who spent more time watching, who loves it more, you know what I mean? Maybe you didn't enjoy this because it took away from like shows it should have been.
Yeah.
Whereas
That's exactly what I'm
to
trying to
me,
say.
I
Yeah.
enjoy this because it was something different. Like I really
Yeah.
enjoyed Star Wars, and this was like, ooh man, this made me feel like watching like some of those old stuff, like a
Yeah.
scoundrel like getting his way through, and like characters I care about, and it was television too. It wasn't like I had to, sometimes when we watch the Clone Wars, the animated stuff, it feels like you're doing homework. Like you're just watching it to know the characters, to know what happens, to like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Some of those arcs suck, but you're
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you know what I
definitely.
mean?
First three seasons were so bad.
But this is like, I'm super excited. I want to know what's going on. I'm
Yeah.
really invested in these characters. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is a good.
Clone Wars is a hard comparison too because it's meant for kids.
True. Where this, so
This is
this,
meant for adults.
yes. So, like you
I
said,
would not recommend this to anybody under
okay.
anyone under like 16. I would not recommend this show
So
to.
I think that's a great thing that we can agree on. So this is maybe not the show you recommend to everyone. I would recommend this to an older audience that maybe is hesitant to Star Wars.
Yeah,
Be like, watch
it's a
this,
good
and then maybe watch
icebreaker.
Rogue One,
Yeah,
and then if those get you into Star Wars, then just get right into New Hope because literally Rogue One is a prequel to that.
yeah,
So this is like the TV warm up to the movie warm up of to diving into Star Wars. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Someone who thinks Star Wars is nerdy, like an older person who still has that old like, you know, I can't watch Star Wars because I'm a hockey fan or whatever. You know what I mean? And like,
Go watch Andor.
exactly, it's that good middle ground.
Yeah.
That's well said.
So
I
okay.
think, yeah,
So
good
guys,
show, good show.
he said it. He admitted it. Colin is a fan of Andor, so we've done it. So let's we'll have a discussion too. I think maybe we should do Rogue One as our next rewatch, but let's ask the fans. Give us some opinions of what you
We
guys.
might need to do something a little bit more exciting.
I want to do Ewok Adventure.
Dude,
Colin
shut
does
up.
not want to do Ewok Adventure. I have
What the hell?
I have the VHS ready to go. We
Oh
just
my
need to find a
god.
VHS player.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
I know it's not that exciting, but I think we have Skeleton Crew coming up, right?
Yeah, that's late November or December, I think, right?
Yes. So I think let's take a look here real quick.
Guys, hit that like button, subscribe. You know, it really helps out.
Well,
Tell your friends. If you like Star Wars, send them here.
Well, it says December 3rd.
Okay.
So I would like to do Rogue One as maybe just kind of a culmination of like Andor's ended and kind of how we feel. But I want to get some opinions from our fans too, what we should be reviewing. Games, movies, TV shows, books. We want something that you guys really enjoy, that you want
Yeah.
us to look at, to kind of give us our opinions on, or just to have a discussion with. I wouldn't mind playing a game or something. We wouldn't be able to get all the footage or reading a book. That wouldn't be fun footage, but something that we hit,
Just Ryan sitting here reading out loud.
right?
Yeah. I actually listened to a book on the way to Edmonton. Mall Lockdown.
Okay.
It's pretty good. Maul gets sent to a prison by Palpatine as like an undercover
Okay.
agent to like he's sent there as a prisoner but undercover as Palpatine. He can't use the Force or anything, and he's got to get this package and deliver it to a crime boss that's within the prison.
Oh, I like this.
It was good. It
So
was good.
it's a prequel to Maul's introduction to Phantom Menace.
Correct.
Also, kind of gets him involved with some crime world that he.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very neat.
And
So,
you get to see Maul like build into the character. Like he's kind of not as confident in himself as he is in the Phantom Menace, and this is kind of the confidence builder.
so you
It's
say you like a story where someone grows and change and
oh,
has
definitely. But on a character that matters. You know how cool that would have been in live action, but instead we put it on Andor.
Funny enough that you say that, because look at it this way. Sorry, I know we're almost done. Maul had 2 minutes of like talking time, a minute 31 of talking time, and like 10 minutes of like,
One of the
and then
most
we kill,
recognizable, cool
but then we
characters
killed him off, and
ever.
then arbitrarily brought him back in a TV show that if you didn't watch, you'd be like, why is he back in?
He's one of the best characters of all time.
Well,
No one said that about Andor.
Lutheran and or could be.
Yeah, but nobody said that
We
about
never
Andor.
know. He could. Dude, the dude robbed Imperials for millions of dollars. He broke up.
Lutheran did.
No, Andor did it.
No,
Andor broke out of a
Lutheran did
prison
it
planet.
and
Andor
put Andor in the place.
broke someone out of there. Like Andor's got a pretty good
If you
resume.
win a chess game, you don't say that pawn won the chess game.
Maybe that
I won the chess game because I controlled the pawns. Lutheran did the heist. Andor was just a pawn. He was gonna kill him. He was ready to just act like that.
he kept him. Anyways, guys, so thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, so Colin and I will try and communicate with you guys
Yep.
as you're watching this. Let us know about what we should watch next. Again, I think we should do Rogue One, but thank you. So like, subscribe, join us for more.
We'll see you next week.